I'm Andy Green, and I've been a commercial litigator and trial lawyer for 20 years. During that time, I've represented businesses of all sizes, from Fortune 500 companies to individual entrepreneurs, and I've represented them in lawsuits and arbitrations across the country. Almost every business has to deal with litigation or potential litigation at some point, whether it's an unpaid receivable, a vendor that fails to deliver or perform, an employee claim, or dispute between partners or shareholders. It's just part of doing business, unfortunately. The key to minimizing the burden that litigation puts on your business is understanding it and actively managing it, just like anything else. Now, some of my clients have in-house litigators and law departments with people experienced in managing disputes and managing your outside lawyers. But many businesses don't have experienced litigators on staff. And for those businesses, there are some general principles to keep in mind when a dispute arises. First, identifying the right lawyer or law firm is important. Now, there are several aspects to identifying the right lawyer or law firm. You want someone who has the right experience, or at least access to the right experience, such as another lawyer with whom they can consult. That doesn't mean you need a lawyer who's been practicing for 20 years like I have, but you do want someone on your team who knows the particular area. For instance, if your lawsuit is in a certain courtroom, there are lawyers who practice all the time in that courtroom, that could be beneficial. The same thing is true if you are sued in a consumer class action lawsuit. Having lawyers who are familiar with the class action process and how to defend it can be very beneficial. Another aspect of identifying the right lawyer is you want a lawyer who wants you as a client. In other words, you don't want to be too big of a client for your law firm because you want to make sure they have the necessary resources. But you also don't want to be too small of a client for your law firm because you want to make sure that you get the attention or the focus that you want. Third, in identifying the right lawyer or law firm, is you want a lawyer who shares your vision for resolving the dispute. You should sit down at the beginning and discuss what you see as a fair resolution, how much you'd be willing to pay to resolve it, or how much you'd be willing to accept to resolve the dispute. You should talk about timelines and other issues to make sure that your lawyer's on the same page. That way you avoid a constant push and pull throughout the lawsuit with your lawyer going in one direction and you going in the other. Finally, you want a lawyer you can afford. This leads to the second general principle in managing your disputes and your litigation. And that principle is that commercial litigation is as much about managing your resources as it is about the facts or the law. Just like any other business issue that you encounter, resolving a dispute means allocating sufficient time and money. Once a lawsuit starts, it's often hard to stop. So you want to make sure that you have a budget and a strategy so that you know you can go the distance. If you have a budget and a strategy, you put yourself in a position where you're always ready for opportunities to settle, meaning that you don't have to settle. You can go in and you can negotiate from a position of strength. And of course, if you can't settle the dispute, having a budget and a strategy allows you to go all the way to trial if necessary. The third general principle in managing a dispute is to educate yourself about the process. I know that most owners and executives barely have enough time to handle what's already on their plate, much less learn about the litigation process. But knowing just a little can help you ask educated questions of your lawyer and manage the process, and not just be at the mercy of what your lawyer is telling you.